everybody, John 12 back here again with another video, and I'm here to give you another Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice video. Now, of course, if you've not checked out my last video discussing the movie, please go check it out. It's basically me discussing the rumor of, the 3 trailers that we're allegedly getting in October and November regarding Batman v Superman and the 3rd trailer. But that being said, enough of my shameless plugs. Let's get into this plug. Let's talk about today's topic, which is, of course, Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice gets an official rating by the Motion Picture Association of America, a PG-13 rating. Now, I originally wasn't going to talk about this because I felt like, well, it makes sense. I mean, like, majority of all Batman movies or, comic book movie, just superhero movies in general are rated PG or PG-13. It makes sense, so I didn't really consider it to be a real big deal. However, the internet and comic book feeds have been going crazy discussing the fact that Batman v Superman has officially been rated PG-13. I guess a lot of people felt that it should have been given a standalone, straightforward rated R rating, which I felt was kind of odd. I know a lot of people really want, especially as of right now, a lot of people want to see a serious rated R Batman movie. A lot of people want to see that. However, it just feels completely, just unnecessary for this kind of franchise. I mean, the Batman movies aren't typically meant for, R ratings, and, Warner Brothers has done a pretty amazing job at making these movies for PG-13 and making amazing profits and destroying the box office, so I don't really consider it necessary for them to do an R rating, but, it is what it is. The PG-13, the way it's pronounced, though, is the real reason as to why I'm talking, because the way they described it really made you think about, well, what kind of weird kind of sequences are we getting in this movie other than just, Batman beating the crap out of Superman and Superman beating the crap out of Batman. Now, this is the overall description. Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice rated PG-13 for intense sequences of violence and action throughout, which makes sense. However, this is the real big kicker, which is why everyone's talking about this topic and why I'm particularly talking about it in the first place, which is, and keyword, some sensuality. Now, that can mean 1,000 different things that everyone is obviously speculating hardcore right now. For me personally, it doesn't really mean that much. I mean, like, the most that statement means and why this movie is rated PG-13, well, it means that characters will be doing some kind of intense, sensual kind of activities, I mean, a lot, like, just go back and look at the Batman movies, The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises as key examples. They're both PG-13 Batman movies, superhero comic book movies, and they're both PG-13 for specific reasons. In The Dark Knight, you had Bruce Wayne make out, and there was some intense violence, so there was the PG-13, and you had Dark Knight Rises, which amped up the action and violence, and of course you had Bruce Wayne make out with Catwoman like a dozen times, and then you had him, have a obscure kind of a sex scene with the Talia al Ghul character. So there you go, PG-13 rating. So maybe we're just gonna get like a mixture of those kind of things with this movie, which makes a lot of sense, seeing as how you have Aquaman cameo, he's shirtless. You got Batman training, shirtless. You got freaking Superman and Lois Lane grabbing each other in the fucking, the freaking teaser trailers. And then you got the possibility of, Bruce Wayne and Diana, possibly being, in a freaking, the status quo, possibly them being together or having some kind of chemistry or relationship in the possible future. So there's and on top of that, Wonder Woman as a character. I mean, hell, she's, one of the most revealing mainstream superhero, heroines of all fucking time. So it makes sense that this movie is PG-13. For me personally, I never felt it to be that major of a problem. I think it's appropriate rating, and I'm still psyched to see this movie. However, the sensuality thing just really makes me, ponder. It's just like, what is the real reason as to why it's described as sensual? Is it because Bruce Wayne and Diana are going to have some form of a off-screen kind of sexual relationship? Or is it because, we're finally going to get to see Superman and Lois Lane do it on screen for once? Or is it just the standard superhero comic book trope of just like we make out in front of the camera intensively while shit's going down in the background before we get shit done kind of sequence? It's more than likely going to be that. But that's pretty much it. All I have to really say. I personally have no real big qualms with Batman v Superman being rated PG-13. I don't think it's that real big of a deal. The sensuality part of the description kind of bothers me because I'm just thinking like, what is the sensual sequence? Is it, because at the same time, I know hardcore fans, don't like it, but I like the idea of Bruce Wayne and Diana being a thing. I'm just saying, if this universe is not gonna have a Catwoman and she's dead or like not Catwoman anymore, then it makes sense. I mean, like, he's alone, she's, from another world that's somehow in our world, whatever, and she's a goddess, and Steve, I know there's a Steve Trevor, but whatever, and I don't know, let's just see what happens. But overall, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, PG-13. Now that we're done with the rating, let's actually see this motherfucker. 6 months left. 6 months left. I need to see this movie already and stop talking about it. Overall, comment below. Let me know what your personal thoughts on the official rating of Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. What are your personal thoughts on the description that was given? Intense sequences of violence and action throughout, which, makes sense. Two characters of God personas will beat the crap out of each other, but then there's some sensuality. So what does that mean? Are we gonna see, some freaking, Bruce Wayne take off the chonies for a real reason? Or is Superman and Lois Lane just gonna be making out throughout the movie? Or is like every dude in this movie shirtless? Who the hell knows? We'll have to wait and see. Let me know what you personally think in the comment section below. And of course, if you've not done so already, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JohnCh12. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. And I hope you guys enjoy. This has been John12.